Shalom and welcome to Reality Check. In this segment, I'm going to answer a question that is foremost on the minds of many who have found their way to Torah, and that is, which of those 613 commands can we still keep today? Well, here's the thing. The numbering of the original commandments was done by man, not by Yahweh our God. Yes, the commandments were certainly given by God, as we see in the first 5 books of the Bible, which is called Torah, but we must remember that most of them were directed at the Cohens, or the priests of the day. Some were only for men, some only for women, and some were only for a certain situation or time frame. But some were meant to last forever, and those are the ones we need to pay attention to, because they usually include words to the effect of, do this forever, or this is to be done throughout your generations. This wasn't directed at the Jews, it was directed at all who were being taught by God through Moses in the desert, which included the 12 tribes and all the Gentiles who had followed the Israelites out of Egypt. Included in some of the forever commands are the 10 Commandments, as we see in Exodus 20 and 34, which were actually written in stone, which means they're not negotiable. While Yahweh had condensed his forever commands into just 10, we must remember these 10 are just part of the larger picture taken from Yahweh's Torah, which is our blueprint for moral, holy living, which he said would last forever, according to passages such as 2 Chronicles 7:14 through 22. Many Christian denominations insist that they're exempt from even keeping the 10 Commandments anymore, let alone those 613. They've totally taken out of context Matthew 22:36 through 40, which says the following, "Teacher, which commandment in Torah is the greatest?" And Yeshua said to him that you should love Master Yahweh, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might, and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second is like it, that you should love your neighbor as yourself. But they forget that very last sentence. On these 2 commandments hang Torah and the prophets. The Torah and the prophets hang and are dependent on those 2 commands. My goodness, if we were to follow just those 2 commands by themselves, how could we determine what sin is? After all, we're told in 1 John 3:4 that sin is transgression of the Torah. Another forever command is the 7th-day Sabbath, outlined in Genesis 2:1 through 3, Exodus 31:13, Exodus 31:16 through 17, and Leviticus 23:3. God told us that the Sabbath would forever be a sign between him and the children of Israel, which includes every believer, grafted in or otherwise. In the end times, which we're in now, the 7th-day Sabbath will distinguish true believers from the lukewarm, especially when the Antichrist starts putting pressure on people to conform to his rules. Other forever commands include the biblical feasts outlined in Leviticus 23, where we see statements after each feast to the effect of, "It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations." Keeping kosher, meaning eating only clean foods, was also a forever command. You can search the Bible through, but you will never see that the command was ever negated, although it appears that some passages seem to suggest otherwise. This particular subject merits its very own segment, which I will discuss in the near future. The wearing of tzitzit, the tassels on the 4 corners of our garments, which is this, is another forever command. Today, we don't have 4-cornered garments anymore, but we can improvise by looping them through our belt loops or wearing special shirts that have tzitzit attached. We see this command in Numbers 15:37 through 41, which says, "Yahweh said to Moshe, speak to the people of Israel." Notice it doesn't say men, it says people, which includes women. "Instructing them to make through all their generations tzitziot on the corners of their garments, and to put the tzitzit on each corner of blue thread. It is to be a tzitzit for you to look at and thereby remember all of Yahweh's mitzvot, or commands and obey them so that you won't go around wherever your heart and eyes lead you to prostitute yourselves. But it will help you remember and obey all my mitzvot and be holy for your God. I am Yahweh your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt in order to be your God. I am Yahweh your God. As I mentioned earlier, 2 Chronicles 7:14 through 22 tells us that Yahweh's Torah would stand forever. And that's why we are to do our best to try to discern his do's and don'ts, because they are all good for us and good for a reason. Yahweh only has our best interests at heart. And that is why, like any other good parent, he has certain rules in place. Unfortunately, Christianity teaches that his Torah, his divine instructions to mankind, were only for the Jews, and that Torah is a curse that was abolished at the cross. Does that really make any sense? Shalom.